not going to do the YouTube intro thing.
Can you do my YouTube intro?
Can I do a YouTube
How many times have you watched my YouTube videos?
Hi, my name's Hannah Bennyhood, and I am an artist and architect. I can't remember the rest of it.
See? Call yourself supportive. Welcome to episode
5?
4. 5? 4. I think I'm only on 4 and I've run out of things to say, so I brought someone else on to help me. Episode 4 of One Take Hot Take, and it is my birthday special. That's what I've decided. This is how I'm justifying bringing someone else on.
5 episode birthday special.
Birthday special. This could be an annual tradition.
It could be.
And
we'll see how this goes.
We'll see how it goes. We'll see if this even ends up on the internet, to be honest.
Yeah. It could be a nice thing to just... Oh.
I know, exactly. Just like have it in our hard drives somewhere.
Yeah.
But also, not only is it a birthday special, but around this time, I'm like 2 weeks from hitting like my business year.
Okay.
The end of my business year.
Okay.
So it's like a celebration of surviving another year as an artist.
Sure.
Yay!
Subsistence artist.
Anyway, maybe we should like actually introduce who you are.
That would be reasonable.
Would you like to do that?
Sure. Do you want me to introduce myself to your audience?
Directly to the people.
Down the lens.
You know, at least 12 people might watch this.
Hi Elaine, how you doing?
Elaine's my mum. Hi mum. She's a guaranteed.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Jake Ellis, and I am Hannah's husband.
Hooray!
There are other ways to define me. But
that's it. That's your whole identity.
That's the relevant one for this.
And how much do you want to say about what you do?
I'm a doctor. I am a child and adolescent psychiatrist. About it.
That's probably about it, yeah. So we thought basically today we'd talk about what it's like to be married to me. No, like what it's like to be married to an artist, or the differences in our careers, and that kind of change how we've both dealt about it, how we both think about it, blah blah blah.
Sure.
Basically,
yeah.
Because like I said, this is now coming up to, I'm going into my 3rd year of being a full-time artist, which is pretty cool. You obviously have like a normal person job.
I suppose.
But I think the crazy thing is that
trade.
Not only do you have a normal person job, you probably have the most securest job there is pretty much on the planet.
Yeah, in terms of like job security.
Job security, yeah. Because Jake is a doctor.
Yeah, long-term financial security, I suppose, as well.
Yeah, and also you are a consultant, which means hypothetically you could have this job for the rest of your life if you so chose, if you wished to do that.
Yeah, I have again, without wanting to go into too much detail, I have a substantive contract. So basically I am permanently employed in my employing trust. And substantive consultants, I mean, we'll see how this podcast goes, but they don't get fired very often.
See how outrageous what you can say is on this podcast. Which is basically the opposite of me. I'm permanently kind of employed /
travelling up the wall.
Scrabbling for
running up the scree slope of artistry.
It's very different. And so I suppose I'm wondering how you felt. But when Jake and I met, I was a full-time architect. Yeah. Or I was studying and then I became a full-time architect. Do you remember when I sort of came to you and was like, I want to be an I want to give up my career and become an artist?
You come to me and do that. I think it was always talked about because I mean, it was primarily Canada, wasn't it? Like, was the kind of the catalyst for it as well. It was like I think the idea of like let's go to Canada came I think the idea of let's go to Canada came before the idea of let's get married.
But there was I kind of made a plan. I do actually remember. I don't know if you remember this. I came up to you and I said, I want to have an art baby. Do you remember this?
Remind me, what do you mean by an art baby?
Good question. I think you asked the same question at the time.
Yeah.
I think because my other friends...
I clearly listened.
Yeah, clearly listening. I think because my other friends were having like actual babies.
Yes. Sorry, yeah.
And they were taking breaks from their careers.
Yes. Yeah.
Not as in not working, but they were kind of like, I'm not going to be on the like, like...
Pivoting.
Yeah, getting promoted, like being hyper-focused on that. They were like, I'm going to have a baby and like... not coast, but just like be like, give me 5 years. I can remember basically I was speaking to a colleague and she was like, I want 2 kids. That's going to take me 5 years. And then like...
to get over that bit.
The hump.
Yeah.
Let's be real, it's hardcore. Yeah. So to get over the hump, and then she's like, then I'm going to be back on the career like track.
Yeah. Okay.
So...
go into the pit lane.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, that sounds good. But what if it wasn't a baby?
What if it was?
And instead an art career?
Yes. What if instead of pulling into the pit lane, I changed sports entirely?
I don't know if this metaphor
it doesn't work. I'm stretching it and it's broken. It's broken already.
But I think that the idea behind it was kind of like, I'll give myself 5 years to try and do this. And if it's not working, I'll go back. Because one of the things I said, or one of the things I felt, or I don't know how you feel about it, is that I wasn't willing to do this if I couldn't make a decent amount of money. Not loads of money, but like a decent amount of money to contribute to what our relation, not our relation, but our life.
Yeah.
Like, I think that is fair enough to say.
And your independence as well. And your, because I think when you were working as an architect, when you were working as a junior architect, like you weren't getting paid much, considering
money's not good as an architect.
Considering the amount of education you had to have gone through, and Christ knows how the equation works out these days.
Oh my God, I don't know. It's a huge decision to decide to study architecture nowadays, considering how much you get paid when you're out.
Like my medical degree, 5 years. When I did it, it cost £1,200 a year.
Same.
Yeah. And then it jumped to 3, and then it jumped to 9 as well. So that same medical degree used to cost £6,000, now costs 45.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so architecture is what? 6? No, it's 5.
7.
7 years.
7 years.
7 years
but
undergrad.
5 you're in.
Yeah.
You're like in university. 2 like additional ones you're working.
Exactly. So you got so you essentially accumulate 45 to 60k of debt if you're lucky.
Yeah.
80 to 90 easy if you're unlucky. To then enter into a job market which is not as well remunerated as medicine or law.
Yeah.
And medicine and law.
I think I've shared before.
Right
yeah.
now.
Oh my gosh. I was on 36 grand when I left.
Yeah.
When I left architecture. Yeah. Which isn't a lot again, considering how hard we worked and
it's not nothing, and I don't want to
no, it's not nothing.
Be mean about that as well.
No, and it got us things like our ability to get a mortgage.
Yeah.
Like for example, like I don't know if we'd be able to do that now, as in like if I was an artist and. That is, I mean, it is doable, but it's a whole nother world.
Yeah, it was junior doctor salary plus
junior
architect salary equals bank seems okay about lending us money to buy a house.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah, I completely agree. And I don't want to crap on it. I think the thing that, again, as a lifetime employee of the public sector as well, the ability for kind of architects to advocate for their own working conditions felt really limited as well.
Jake always thought it was insane that I didn't know what anyone else was earning.
Yeah.
Or when it came to pay reviews, it was one of my most stressful times of the year. And Jake would always be like, "You guys are crazy over there in the private sector."
Yeah. You're like, I'm just working a standard 9 to 6. It's like a 9 to 6. What is a 9 to 6?
Oh my God.
Who told you about
Jake,
9 to 6?
you do work a lot more than a 9 to 5.
My contract says that.
Yeah, exactly. What's worse?
My contract says 37 and a half hours a week.
That's not what you do.
No, but at least there is some legal basis to it as well. And I think it was the information asymmetry of the career that I think from a distant point of view always irked me. I can go on a website and I can look up the salary of every single sort of member of a healthcare profession team. I know.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that if you think architecture's bad, then art.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
I
have absolutely no idea what my peers are earning.
No.
Like, not a clue.
No.
I couldn't even tell you ballpark.
Mm.
Like, are they scraping by? Are they smashing it?
But I got the sense that, like, as a junior architect, like, that was very much set by the machine in which you worked.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it was. Sometimes the practices would have these meetings. Like, all the directors from the practices would get together and set rates.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you wanted to, like, jump between practices, they were, like, capping your rates. Yeah. So unless you went to different architects.
Yeah.
But I think one of the big things, though, was for me was at the fact that I was on 36k. Like I said, it was okay money. But, like, it wasn't money where I felt like I can't walk away from this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the reasons why I was like, okay, I'm 30, like, let me do this now. Because if I was earning maybe like 50k, it would be harder to walk away from a 50k salary to get a minimum wage job.
Yeah,
36, like...
It's achievable, like, in London. Like,
in London,
I think that's a very reasonable kind of sort of middle class living wage.
Well, I think it's probably, it'll be a lot more now, like, in terms of, because that was, 6 years ago at that stage. So I think, well, I whatever that my equivalent now is probably on 40, maybe 42 or something, considering the time.
Makes sense.
The time that has passed in that. But I think,
and who knows if it is reasonable anyway. But as you say, it wasn't a sum that was like completely terrifying to walk away from, or completely unachievable in a new career starting from like close to zero.
But how did you feel about having someone kind of be like, I'm off to start another career from scratch? Because I have to say, like, if you said that to me, I would be like, okay. You were like incredibly supportive considering like what I was setting out, which is basically, both of us are privileged in a myriad of ways. One of the things that I think I have being married to you is that comfort of knowing that the bills will get paid, whether I contribute or not. I always have done, even when I wasn't making money from art. I went and got minimum wage jobs, but like I wasn't like giving as much to the team
in a pure
like, financial
numbers
sense.
On the board sense. But like as we've talked about loads, like that isn't the only way. Like, and also like I don't think it's kind of conducive to kind of ongoing relationship happiness to be sort of continuously like measuring it in that sort of transactional way. Like as in like, you contribute infinitely. And I think the thing that made me secure about it, and I had doubts, but like it never felt insurmountable at all. And it was basically that you were so passionate about it getting paid zero money, essentially.
Okay.
You were kind of clearly building this kind of outside of your already pretty hectic 9 till 6 job, like, and as you say, like you were kind of pushing it. You were like playing with lots of different media. You were getting kind of small shows in different places as well. You were experimenting with kind of different models about how it could be financially viable. Do I want to make things in frames? Do I want to kind of make exhibitions or things like that too? Like you had like kind of one kind of moderate scale show like a year for like sort of 3-4 years before you made the jump. Like things like A Couple of Lovebirds. Really stands out as like a sort of
City of Stories.
City of Stories, yeah. So like some real sort of proofs of concept.
Yeah.
Like as in like this is a thing that I can do, that people want me to do and are excited about me doing it as well. And these are kind of different models by which it could be financially viable. So I think if you hadn't done all of that and if you just kind of turned around and said like,
one day. Surprise!
I draw a lot in my job and you've never seen any of it, but like I reckon like people will just pay me for that. Like I don't think it would be fine.
Yeah.
Like I'd been very much actively a part of that.
Yes, Jake
hopefully,
helped me a lot.
Hopefully contributing to the
I haven't made you do anything
cost
in
neutrality
a
of
long
it.
time.
Yeah, because you get paid to do it now.
I get paid to do it now.
You can pay people.
I used to, Jake used to help me make a lot of things or install a lot of things, but now I can hire people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I have to crack out the tools when we can't afford to hire someone.
Yeah.
Like Bexhill is an example of that.
Yeah.
For example.
So I haven't even addressed the fact that we're not in my studio. So
yeah.
We are currently in Bexhill,
Mhm.
and because Jake and I essentially started a little business together, which is an Airbnb.
Yeah.
We bought a place outside of London, renovated it, and we rent it on Airbnb. And that's where we are today, spending my birthday weekend here.
But yeah, like getting back to, like, as you say, like when you decided to become an artist and why that perhaps didn't feel like too much of a stretch as well. It felt like diversification. It felt like actually cool. We could both work jobs in try and get permanent contracts and try and have long-term job security and pensions and things like that too. But like one of us wanted to kind of roll the dice a little bit and just kind of see if there was more.
Yeah, I mean, it feels sometimes I feel a bit like bad that I got to roll the dice.
It was the sensible thing, and like I think personality-wise, you're someone who's more tempted for a re-roll and a high-risk investment.
Let's roll the dice.
I was like, well, let's just take it a step at a time. I do think
though, like I don't know whether I'm not particularly chill about it though. Like, in a way, I think that's good. But like, I think the reason why I talk so much about money on YouTube or Instagram is because I do constantly feel anxious about it, and I'm not sure whether other freelancers feel like this. Like, maybe this is something that like calms down over time. Yeah. But like, I'm just like, like.
You're probably in a kind of state of like trying to prove to yourself as well, and there's only so many ways to keep score, essentially, or there's only kind of so many ways to kind of demonstrate that you're doing well.
Yeah, yes.
In your own mind.
Well, actually, that was something I wanted to talk about as well a little bit, is about this idea of like failing or success and how you kind of measure that. And I suppose, like you said, like finances is one way to measure that, whether that's right or wrong. Yeah. Which I think is debatable. Like, I think you can absolutely like have a normal standard job and then just make incredible art on the side that doesn't make a penny, but it's just like amazing and contributes to whatever society or to yourself or to well-being or whatever. Or then like, if I think of like things like social media, where like people maybe aren't actually being able to make enough money to survive, but they have like thousands and thousands of followers, and then I think, oh my god, they're so successful. Or like, you know, and how we can be like affected so much by those metrics.
Yeah.
How much you kind of have to like stand back and decide what success looks like to you, which is a bit of a twatty thing to say, but it's kind of true.
It's true. I think it's, as you say, it can be like, you can sort of imagine like, oh, what would other people think of my success? And I think a lot of people, us included, kind of subconsciously measure our success by that metric.
Which one?
As in, so we imagine like, oh, well, like, would somebody kind of look at our life and go like, oh, that's a really good life, and things like that too, and can create a sort of feedback loop of like you're constantly trying to demonstrate that your life is good, instead of kind of perhaps actually, and as I say, I don't think we do this. I think we're pretty good at the other one, which is I think we just kind of work on making things better in our own, in kind of what we're doing as well. I mean, your job security was enough that I felt comfortable going down to 4 days a week in like the last, what is it now, 6 months, I think.
Yeah, so which meant Jake got a 20% pay cut.
Yeah, exactly.
And now I would say, we were talking about this yesterday, now you do a full-time job.
Yeah.
So now you're getting paid 20% less to do a full-time job.
I do 5 days a week in 4 days, as opposed to 6 days a week in 5 days.
Yeah, which was hyper stressful. Yeah, and I felt so proud of that, like of you for deciding to do that, and of me being like, I earn enough that you can do that.
Exactly. This is what I mean. And like, and this is cautiously kind of stepping back from things like that as well. And I think I kind of think about like, you know, the archetype. there's always this kind of like thing about kind of Google, how like when you were employed by them, they would always give you like a day a week to basically just kind of do whatever project you wanted as well, but would pay you for that day, because they understood that was where like a lot of the best ideas in the company came from.
100%. I think for me, I think that is now YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
because this makes me nothing.
Yeah.
And it costs me money.
I think, and I do think like having that day of like, let's just do a thing that I'm really interested in, but that doesn't necessarily have like a financial set of goals from it as well, just to kind of see what comes of it.
And see, and like also kind of not be attached to success, but the last episode of this podcast bombed. It got like, I don't know, maybe on like 60 views or something. But like, I don't know how I feel about it. I feel, if I'm honest, I feel a bit embarrassed, like that it's not it hasn't done well. Which is also whatever. I mean, compared to what?
External.
Yeah, exactly. It's so visible to everyone. Like that's the one hard thing about YouTube, like, is that it's so like people can so see. There is a fundamental like again, they're talking the metric of success, like number of views means something that's done badly or well or not well. And it's just out there for everyone to see. Like it, for example, with the normal podcast, where it's got like an RSS feed, whatever, you have no idea how many people are listening.
Exactly. I wanted the same, like because it's, as you say, it's broadcasted across so many different platforms. Like you might have some idea.
I think the back end they know. The back end but in YouTube it's public.
Yeah. There was like, maybe I just heard it on Colin and Samir or whatever, but there was like talk of like, why don't we take away the views counting?
Oh my god, I would love that. I think on Instagram as well.
Have it as a feature.
And the following, and I would. So I'd be in a happier world, I think, without that stuff there. Because it also, it gives you like, or even maybe if it just wasn't public, kind of like podcasts.
Yeah, as a viewer, like, do I need to know how many other people have viewed this thing?
Yeah. I suppose the thing is a signal when you're like researching things and you're looking for like accurate information. When you see like lots of views on something.
I think it should be a toggle. I think it should be like something you can turn on and off as well. It should be like default off, as you say.
I mean, I think though there is a bit of like putting yourself out there to like publicly fail, which is good for you as well. Like I think it builds strength of character. And it like, there's that fable. Oh, it's called. I don't know what it's called, when this guy just keeps on like praying to God to like win the lottery, and then God comes down and's like, for fuck's sake, will you just buy a lottery ticket? And I feel like sometimes like uploading to YouTube or posting on Instagram or like, just putting yourself out there is like buying lottery tickets. And it's like, sometimes I do think people are just so afraid to like, they want this thing so much, but they're not willing to put themselves out there. And it's just like, the majority of the tickets are going to flop. The majority of no one are going to see. Like, the only thing that irks me about that narrative, which I hear a lot, is that I always think you only hear the success stories.
Yes, of course.
Like, you never hear about the person that just bought lottery tickets for the whole of their life and never won. Apart from that's everyone that plays the lottery. But if we're talking about that. But I think that becomes my, am I just going to be the person who, like, strives for greatness her whole life and then just doesn't really achieve it?
No. Happy birthday to but it's like you can't control it. I think.
No, and also like what does that even mean? Blah 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 blah.
Didn't you talk about like rival fallacy?
Yeah, I talked about that last week
one as well. Which is like
go watch it.
Yeah. link here. Like the. It's like all you can control is like how frequently you make a YouTube video, or how high quality you feel the YouTube video that you make is, essentially. As in, like, you can't control whether it does well or not. You can learn from
I want to do this thing. I'm thinking of writing it on my phone. I'm so bad at it. Is post and ghost. Post and then just leave the internet.
Yeah.
So much easier said than done.
Yeah.
So much easier. I wish I had that
Or like have
strength.
like a sort of I don't know, a day every 2-3 weeks or so where you have like it's like YouTube metrics day, where you like look at all these things and like make a bit of a plan about what's going to happen next, and just like close it all down and don't open it up again. Could be like all social media metrics day.
Yeah,
TikTok, Instagram, YouTube.
I also think like, there's so much of, art or YouTube videos, whatever it may be, that is popular and or does really well and objectively shit. Like it doesn't even mean it's good if something's like popular or making money or good.
No, exactly. It's again like I feel like I'm kind of coming across like as someone who's kind of railing against the man, but like we can't really control those things. Like to be honest, my suspicion is a lot of the time the companies that created the algorithms that decide whether something is successful don't fully know how they work, for example, as well.
What, don't know how the algorithms
work? They don't know why, they couldn't tell you at a nuts and bolts level why it's boosting one particular thing and not boosting something.
Yeah. I think also though it's quite like why I hope that some people might enjoy this is that like I feel like I am very much like in the middle of like not trying, obviously I am full time, but trying to build a career. And sometimes when I hear like interviews of people who have made it, it feels like it's so like hard to relate to because they're like already accomplished, or they're not like going through the same like struggles, or like trying to like figure out things in the same vein. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes I think it's quite helpful to like follow people who are like doing the same the same kind of like level as you, or maybe a run up or something, rather than like just trying to figure things out backwards from someone who's super successful.
Exactly. Yeah, I think often kind of the ridiculously successful people, unless they're very, very insightful and have sort of had a lot of people along the way to keep them very grounded, or maybe kind of kept very clear records throughout as well, might not know. Big hot take.
Battery died, we're back.
You were talking about successful people and...
Oh, in architecture, like sometimes when you ask, be like, how did you start off? And they're like, oh, I won a competition in the 80s out of university to like design a museum in Berlin. And that's how I started my practice.
Exactly.
And I was like 21. It's like, what? This is not how the world works.
But of course you did.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that advice is just like not necessary, not helpful. And some people are really self-aware of that, and they're just like, oh, I cannot tell you how to do it right now because...
And if the framing of that was, I got ridiculously lucky. Like, I worked really hard, but I happened to meet somebody at university who knew this person that was doing this competition to design a museum in Berlin, and that's how I got the gig. As in, like...
I mean, that everyone gets lucky, don't they? Like...
Yeah. It can be both and like... and people who work hard have more lottery tickets and have more of a chance, I think. I hope.
Yeah, I suppose so. But then again, it's like that luck of what allows you to work hard.
Yeah.
For example, the fact that I happen to marry you. Like, would I have the same career if I was single?
No. Well,
no.
No. Sorry. I don't know why that wasn't a no. That was a bit Freudian. No.
You'd be nothing without me.
You never forget. No, I think you would have a career without me. Of course you would.
Yeah,
it would be different.
But it would be different. It would be different because I would have had to make different decisions.
And
or
like, similarly with like your parents and your sort of colleagues at university, your colleagues in architecture as well, your friends. Like as in like again we can't sort of choose these tapestries. And I don't want to equate success with hard work because they're kind of just
meritocracy. Jake's like pull you up from your bootstraps.
Well, they're two data points, right? In like a very big tapestry, and there are ones that we might have some control over in a world that can feel very uncontrollable, out of control at times. As you say, when you're trying to kind of start a brand new career, like there's only so many things you can control about that.
Mm.
You know. And,
Yeah.
And one of those is like, you know, how much time and energy you put into it as well, and how much time and energy you have available to put into it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Well, have you enjoyed being on my podcast? I don't know if I feel better or worse after that. That's a nice thing to do on my birthday.
Is it a nice thing to do?
I don't know.
Yeah. Full disclosure, it's not your birthday. We didn't
When's
do
my
this.
birthday tomorrow?
And your birthday tomorrow.
Birthday Eve. It's
Yeah,
my
yeah.
last day of being 35.
Did we cover the things you want? I wasn't even sure what the topic was.
Neither was I really. I just
A
thought
reflection?
I was just
I'm meandering.
a meandering reflection
So,
on survival.
yeah.
Maybe would you like to come back on this time next year?
Sure. Fine.
We can see how the years have gone.
Can see how this feels.
See if you're still around.
So we need to reflect.
Jake's left me.
It's like, well, we're going to test this theory and whether I can. Yeah, I was also just reflecting on, like, you know, we're such millennials that the only way that we can sort of think about the year is in a podcast format.
I know, what twats. No, we do this offline as well. We do this offline as well.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, no, I'd love to come back. I'd love to come back and have another think.
Well, thanks for coming on this incredible podcast.
Thanks for having me on this journey.
You are welcome.
Wouldn't be anywhere else.
I'd like to thank our sponsors, which is the Bexhill Art House. I'll leave the link to the Airbnb as well.
Yeah, exactly. If you wish
Always
to,
hustling. Hustling.
If you wish to support this podcast, why not book a stay at the Bexhill Art House?
Yeah.
Our rates are very reasonable.
The views are gorgeous.
Book now.